Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Everyday Copportunity channel for Premier Train Entry number 12. Patriotic Stacker just left us with an amazing video, and I'm going to try to do the same thing before Miss Coin Crew comes on. Our video today is going to be a little something I did first on Facebook and a bunch of smaller videos called Facts on Coins. Let's try it out, shall we? We're going to have a bunch of nickel rolls with a bunch of facts written on them. First one says the first episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood aired on 2/19/1968. So when I grab these next rolls of coins, basically I'm going to be writing a bunch of facts on them, and hopefully as they go through, different people can find different things maybe they didn't know on about them. They can go and look them up on YouTube or find a history of them and maybe learn something new. So we've got Supernatural, the TV show, is going to have ended on 11/19/2022. All right, we've got the first iPhone was released on June 29, 2007. I remember working in a pawn shop, and man, people were bringing in fake iPhones all the time trying to get money. Alright, let's see. We have Garth Brooks' self-titled first studio album was released on April 12th, 1989. Pretty good album if you're into country music, although it does sound like it was recorded in a closet. One 28/1986, the Challenger space shuttle explodes. Now, if you were a child like I was when that happened and you watched that happen live on TV, not only was that a horrible experience for anyone to have to watch those people go through, but you'll remember that that was also the first time they ever sent a teacher into space. Unfortunately, it's man, it just threw us all out of whack. November 9th, 1989, the night the Berlin Wall came down. So, our president at the time was Ronald Reagan, and the person leading the USSR at the time, which included Russia and Germany and places like that, was Mikhail Gorbachev. And President Reagan had a famous slogan saying, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear that wall down." And it was the first time in decades that both halves of Germany were allowed to go back and forth freely. This is always a hard one. 9/11, 2001 is when the Trade Center and the Pentagon were attacked, as well as the other plane that went down in the field that they believe was headed for Washington, D.C. at the time. Never forget. Alright, something a little more lighthearted. On 2/6/1991, the Street Fighter II video game was released in the arcade. Man, did I ever dump some quarters into that thing at the local 7-Eleven. And I believe Street Fighter II was by Capcom, and out of all the video games they've made more versions of that one game than any other game they ever made. Alright, January 20th, 1981, Ronald Reagan was elected President of the United States. Good, bad, or ugly, still my favorite president to this day. Alright. Oh. June 27th, 1940, Bugs Bunny debuts in A Wild Hare. This was a video short by the company. Eleven 1986 was the release that we should all know about in our coin community of the American Silver Eagle, our country's national 1 ounce silver coin. It is the most widely recognized silver coin in the world. September 23rd, 1975. Probably a more important date for myself and my family than for anybody else that might be watching. That's the day I was born. I was throwing in some things that were a little more or less not big events in there at one point, just for funsies. We had March 23rd, 2001 was a big day if you were a wrestling fan. It was the day that Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who owned the WWF, also bought the WCW. After almost 10 years, the Monday Night Wars were over. All right. 11/26/1863, the final Thursday, Abraham Lincoln declares to be National Day of Thanksgiving. The final Thursday in November henceforth would be known as Thanksgiving Day. All right, this is a big event for people in Texas and for people that came from other states to be a part of Texas history and help us out. The Battle of the Alamo, February 23rd, 1836. All right, we have 8/27/08. Well, heck, that was the day that Little Copper was born. It's been interesting watching him grow up and become an amazing young man. Him being a part of the channel is not as much as I'd hoped it would be, but maybe as he gets a little older. All right. We have December 12th, 1980 was the day that the Apple Corporation became a publicly traded business. Steve Jobs becomes a multimillionaire overnight, along with Wozniak. Was it John Wozniak, I believe? All right. So, 8/28/1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gives his iconic I Have a Dream speech. All right. Grease, starring Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, came out on June 13, 1978. Ever since then, we have had chills, and they have been multiplying. The movie might be highly, highly campy by today's standards, but I still enjoy that movie after all these years. All right, here's another one for us coin enthusiasts. The Buffalo nickel was minted from 1913 to 1938. So far, I've went through about 10 rolls of these, and I haven't found one yet. Wish me luck. About to talk to myself dry. Give me a second. Okay. We have 327, 21st video, 327, 2020. The first video goes up on the Everyday Coppertunity channel. He's a boring and mostly quiet guy. Perhaps you've heard of him. All right. Super Bowl #1 for you football enthusiasts was played on 1/15/1967 with Green Bay going up over Kansas City 35-10. All right. The Atari 2600 video computer system, also known again as the Atari 2600 later on down the line, was released in the United States in September of 1977 for $185. Go back and look up what money was worth in 1977. That's pretty expensive. All right. The Santa Claus, as we know him today, was made by Hudson Sandlin for the Coca-Cola Company in 1931. Now, of course, Santa Claus had been around long, long before that with many various forms and many different names, but to have the continuous rosy cheeks and the white beard and all that, the same kind of looking suit, was commissioned by Coca-Cola. All right. If you're from Houston or even paid any attention to baseball this year, November 5th, 2022, not only did the Astros win the World Series, but bigger than that for himself personally, Mattress Mac wins $75 million in the world's largest bets on one sporting event. All right, one last one before we start running out of time. YouTube's official launch date was 12/15/2005. Now, when I first did these videos on Facebook, it was one video per roll of coins. Let me know if this is something y'all might be interested in seeing us doing going forward, or if it's just boring facts for you. I hope the next person that finds these will find something interesting in there. Let me thank Will's Treasures, Patriotic Stacker, Mrs. Coin Crew, Pistol Packing Pilot, Stacks and Stuff, Ringmaster Ray, and Mr. Mad Stacker for having me aboard the premier train for the 12th time. I can't believe it. It's always amazing to be here. Thank you all so much, and we will see you over at Mrs. Coin Crew. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.